Good morning, students. Class 10th. We have finished the first part of chapter 3. As we have seen the text of two stories about flying, and especially his first flight, about the seagull I am talking about. We have seen that in the beginning, Seagull was not willing to fly. He was lacking in confidence. Even the family members, they were giving him sport, and by they were doing the same thing, but he was not showing his own confidence. So it was the hunger that maddened him, and finally he started flying. Right. Now let's come to the question answers. See the first question. Why was the young seagull afraid to fly? Do you think all the young birds are afraid to make their first flight? Or are some birds more timid than others? Do you think a human baby also finds it a challenge to take its first step? See, the first thing is, why was the young seagull afraid to fly? First, explain this. The young seagull was afraid to fly because he was lacking in confidence. He was thinking that his wings would not support him and he would fall in the vast ocean below. That's why he was not ready to fly. And as it has been asked, do you think all young birds are afraid to make their first flight? See, we cannot say that all they are afraid while they are making their first flight, because the nature and the temperament amongst the living beings is totally different, right? So all cannot be the same. Somewhere they have different qualities. Some they are full of dare, some they are courageous, and some they lack in confidence. So next thing is, do you think a human baby also finds it do you think a human baby also find it a challenge to take its first step? See, human babies also behave in a similar manner and find it challenge when they take their first step, right? When if we talk about an infant, don't think that a newborn child start walking, okay? So everybody face challenges when he or she performs any of the action first time. So it applies to human also, it applies to birds also, it applies to animals also. Next question. The sight of the food maddened him. What does this suggest? What compelled the young seagull to finally fly? See, we know that in the beginning the seagull was not ready to take the flight till the noontime, okay? Even the mother, father, brothers, sister, all of them motivated him. All of them even commented on him, but he did not fly. So we can say that it was the hunger that made him desperate, right? As we know that hunger can make any living being desperate. So it was his hunger which compelled him finally to fly, and that's why. Question number 3. They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. Why did the seagull's father and mother threaten him and cajole him to fly? They were beckoning to him, calling shrilly. Why did this seagull's father and mother threaten him and cajole him to fly? Cajole means to coax, to persuade. See, parents of all living creature love their young ones, and they want that their children must not face any sort of problem, any sort of challenge in their life. That's why from the very beginning the parents are there who give them training, who give them different type of education so that they can survive in this universe, right? And when the parents perform all these activities, they have to adopt various ways. Sometimes they are harsh, sometimes they show their love also, sometimes they scold, sometimes they comment. So it also happens in our regular life. Students, you see, for your career your parents are very much worried, and that's why from the very beginning they want that my ward must go in a good school, must get good education, must be a good successful person, right? They are taking all sort of pain, and while they are doing all this, sometimes they scold you, sometimes they love you, sometimes they praise you, sometimes they comment on you, right? So it is the part of the life. So it is the duty of the parents to perform all sort of activities and to perform all sort of roles, and same was done by the parents of Seagull. So dear student, you can leave question number 4 or 5. Now move to the part 2, the black aeroplane. Now we shall continue with second part, the black aeroplane. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. See the title, The Black Aeroplane. It means definitely we are talking about an aeroplane and its color is black, right? So the narrator is telling when he was in his old Dakota aeroplane, the moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. The narrator is the pilot here. He is flying the old Dakota aeroplane, okay? And the weather was very nice. It was almost clear sky. There was no cloud in the sky, and the narrator was too happy because he was planning for his holidays. He was thinking that I will spend my time with my family. Okay, so it was the time 1:30 in the morning. 1:30 in the morning, and I was happy to be alone high up above the sleeping countryside, as he was flying his old Dakota aeroplane over France and going back where? To England. France to England. In the meantime, he was also dreaming of his holidays and looking forward to being with his family. He was thinking of his family, that now my holidays will be there and I will spend my time with my family members. I should call Paris control soon, I thought, as I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane. I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris control, Dakota DS088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England, over. So this is the way to communicate with the control room. The pilot always give all sort of information to the control room, the time when he is going to land or when he is going to take off, each and everything. If he faces any problem, then again he contact to the control room. If there is any sort of problem in plane, again. And In the meantime, the pilot also tells about the distance, how much he has covered and how much he is going to cover. So these information, it is the duty of the pilot to impart to the control room. So he made a call to the control room and is saying that I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS088, over. So when he was saying that I am coming to England, then he was given some direction that you ought to turn 12 degrees west. You should take a turn of 12 degrees towards west. I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank. Then he checked the map as well as the compass. And now he switched over to the last fuel tank. First one, it means over. And turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. I will be in time for breakfast, I thought. I will be in time for breakfast, I thought. A good big English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. He was delighted. Started thinking of his breakfast, that I will take the breakfast with family members. Because till now there was no problem. Everything was going on smooth. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me. When I saw the clouds, storm clouds, they were huge. They looked like black mountain standing in front of me across the sky. And suddenly he found that in front of me there were huge black clouds. And they were seeming like the mountains, black mountains. I knew I could not fly up and over them. And I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or south. Because if he will take a round around the clouds, again it requires more fuel. If he will go above, then again he requires more fuel. But this time he was not having that much fuel. So only one thing was left, that he has to go straight into the clouds. Right? But the clouds were just like big like mountains. So he was totally afraid what to do. Having less fuel, cannot go around, cannot go above. So what to do now? I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. Now there were two ways, because he had just crossed how much? Only 150 kilometers. One thing, he could go back, but on the second spot he was thinking about his family. He was thinking about that breakfast. So he was in dilemma now. What to do? I will take the risk. See, it is the nature which compels us to take the risk. So the narrator, the pilot, decided, I will take the risk. I thought and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. So he thought a lot and finally he decided and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. Inside the cloud, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane because everything was black now. So nothing was visible outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I could not believe. I looked at the compass and I could not believe. See this picture and see in front of the pilots there are dark clouds. I could not believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. It means the compass was out of order. It would not work. It would not work. It was dead. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. Now, the pilot tried each and every instrument, but none of the instrument was working. It seems that all the instruments were out of order. Paris control, can you hear me? Now he was using radio signals and he's shouting, Paris control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. So none of the instrument was working, not compass, not radio, and he was not aware at which place, at how much distance he was at that particular moment. Then, in the black clouds, quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. Then, in the black clouds, quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. See in the picture. The pilot is sitting in his own aeroplane, and see just near him there is another aeroplane. Right? So he couldn't believe that there was another aeroplane, and just near him. I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. Though it had no lights, but still he could see that it was flying next to him. I could see the pilot's face turn towards me. I was very glad to see another person. See, whenever we are in a fix means whenever we are in a problem or in this critical situation, and if we find someone there, we become so happy. So he was delighted that he saw the face of another pilot. He lifted one hand and waved. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. He made the gesture with the hand. Okay, you can follow me, you can follow me. He knows that I'm lost. I thought he's trying to help me. And the pilot of another plane, he knew it very well that I was lost, and in this way, as he was just waving his hand and asking me to follow, he was helping me. So dear students, we shall discuss rest of the part of the chapter in next video. Okay, so till the time, whatever the main points, or we can say the key words in the chapter, you will underline them, you will note down the vocab also. Okay, rest we shall discuss in next video. Thank you, have a good day.